Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us for Impact Final Resolution, our final show of 2021 and our second Final Resolution pay-per-view. If you see from last year's show rating and attendance, we should be looking to smash both of them. I'm hoping to get in the 60s in terms of show rating with our Knockouts main event. And our attendance, we are going to be in Louisiana and we are targeting around 5,000 fans, so that just shows the difference from that. I hope I booked a good show. I did book the end of it. Well, I was just up from a nap and I think I've been up about 15 minutes, so I'm not using that as an excuse if the pay-per-view goes a little bit. If I actually look at the kind of matches from last year's event, Phoenix versus Chris Bay was quite early on, so that's our champion, and his opponent, opener, as Ace Austin and Madman Fulton took on Heath and Rhino. We had a stellar main event. That was the matchup between the Good Brothers, who I've not really used recently, the Motor City Machine Guns, who I've split up, and the North, who I've split up. Am I WWE with all these tag teams splitting up way too early? Remains to be seen, but that was for the Impact World Tag titles that remained with the Good Brothers. Because I keep the pay-per-views as they are in this, as an event of 150 minutes, which does mean it is predominantly matches, so maybe has only 5 or 6 angles, so it might make it quite a quick video, but nonetheless it gives them the best opportunity to gain and lose pop, and of course the company the best opportunity to gain pop as well. So, final show of the year, let's see how it does. This is Final Resolution for Impact Wrestling. So there we go, we are straight off the bat, Greerfield at the Turchin Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. I always start with the main event, people talking about each other. Jordynne Grace talks about how she is going to have the hardest challenge of her life here, but she is ready to show she is a top competitor by beating Ronda Rousey. Ronda says she's won championships everywhere, even in the pro wrestling business, and is looking to add the Impact Championship, the Knockouts Championship, to that resume. Matt Striker was pretty weak at the announce desk. Ronda Rousey looked good, and she's given us a 75 angle, so we should, regardless of the main event, be gaining pop everywhere. Ronda is carrying this company on her back. And we had a great opener. It was about that had superb wrestling and great heat. Phoenix defeated Ace Austin in 1833 with a Meteora, giving him his second defence of the Impact World title. These guys bring out a 68, which is fantastic, and this was just a regular match. The reason I opted with it is the opener. Obviously WWE's done it a lot, they've put world title matches on first, but this would have been the 4th time that these two were competing against each other, and there was a high opportunity for it to flop. So the fact they've succeeded is excellent, and that will be the end of Ace Austin's chase of the championship for now. Moving along with the X Division Championship on the line with a decent matchup which saw Suicide defeat Alex Shelley and other luchadors including Senza Volto and Bushi in 7:55 when Suicide pinned Senza Volto. His 4th defence of the X Division Championship, obviously the far best in-ring performance here went to Alex Shelley, just over Suicide, but I felt like it was a good opportunity to give Senza Volto on a bigger scale, on an event, and Suicide is already considered by the game as a major star within Impact Wrestling. We then had the match between Eddie Edwards and Ethan Page. It was about that had great wrestling and good heat, as expected, and Ethan Page defeats Eddie Edwards in 10:23 with a spinning facebuster. Both guys bring performances over 60, with the overall matchup itself being a 63. This is where you can see the benefits of having everyone get a lot of wins on Impact against lesser talents, meaning when they've all got the good momentum, we get the best results at the pay-per-view. We then have the open challenge for Moose, and it's Bully Ray who's come out to accept the challenge, and Moose cannot believe that's who he'll be defending the television championship against. A 61 rating here. Bully Ray debuts his badass gimmick, which got an initial rating of adequate. Match itself was just a 55, but it was a good matchup. Moose defeating Bully Ray in 10:07 by pinfall via the Game Breaker, This was to allow Moose the second defence of his Impact Television Championship. So Moose with a better performance here. I didn't go too much into the Bully Ray debut because it is a one-off appearance or a reappearance. But yeah, just a one-off. It had most overness that I felt was a free agent that tied into what I wanted to do here with Moose, give him a victory. So I won and done, and that's why not too much was made about that. But Moose should hopefully get into the 50s in terms of overness with that victory. We then had the MMA matchup. I didn't have lines then in the particular mod, and there's a lot of matches in it, so MMA rules was close enough. But we had good heat and decent wrestling. Matt Riddle defeated Ken Shamrock in the mixed martial arts rules match in 7 of 3 when Ken Shamrock could not continue. I felt like in this matchup it was best to have it as a stoppage because I don't think Shamrock would want to submit, even legit. So 53, Riddle with a better performance over Shamrock, and it was our storytelling matchup of the evening. However, after quite an intense fight, we see the teammates of Ken Shamrock, Violent by Design, and we have Eric Young and Joe Doring completely beat the living daylight out of Matt Riddle, proving that while he's done with one member of Violent by Design, 2 others have certainly got a problem with him. And that was a 52 for that segment. Now the promo with Claudio Castagnoli and Chad Betts as they hype up their match with the most professional wrestlers. They talk about how they've been somewhere else and it didn't quite work out for them, and Claudio talks about his history, especially with Chris Hero, and he says he knows how much of a dangerous man he is, but he feels in this instance him and Chad have both got the same kind of chip on their shoulder, and he's both convinced they can work together to give themselves a good push in Impact Wrestling. And this leads to a very stellar matchup that had great heat and great wrestling and good heat, as Claudio Castagnoli and Chad Betts defeat the most professional wrestlers in 14-21 when Claudio pinned Brian Myers with the neutralizer. Brian was a weak link there with a 45 performance, he was off his game, everyone else bringing in mid-60 performances. The segment itself drew a 62, and surely is going to propel Claudio and Chad Betts into a good position. We then had an exceptional matchup for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. A 76 rating pretty much says this should have main evented, but anyway, we had the Inflictors of Pain defeat the Young Bucks in 12-31 when Dinza pinned Matt Jackson with the last chapter. The Inflictors of Pain make the second defence of the Impact World Tag titles. Obviously, the reason the Inflictors of Pain have went over is purely because the Bucks are on a loan. I've got to take their overness and put it on our guys, which is why we've got to make our guys look the more superior tag team. So normally you wouldn't have the Young Bucks come in straight away and lose, but for the purposes of development of our company, the Inflictors of Pain pick up a win, and yeah, kudos to Matt and Nick. They might be coming back a good while on loan if they can produce performances like that as we seek to grow the company. We then had another stellar matchup, another loanee of course from AEW is Matt Hardy. We of course have deals with FTR, open handshake contracts. And it was an exceptional matchup that saw Matt and Jeff Hardy defeat FTR in a Full Metal Mayhem match in 13-34 when Jeff Hardy retrieved the item. The segment gathered was 73, so stellar stuff here. Jeff with a 75, Dax with a 73. Even Matt and Kashi's performances were still very respectable. Both teams getting excellent chemistry together, as you'd expect, and we also had Jeff Hardy take a stunt bump, which he was happy to do, and hopefully hasn't injured himself. So despite the stunt bump, he retrieves the briefcase and we'll just give them a tag match against IOP at one point. So delighted with that. And the main event of the evening was still an exceptional matchup, and it saw Ronda Rousey defeat Jordynne Grace in 17-24 by submission with the armbar. Ronda Rousey wins the Impact Knockouts title, a 69 rating. It was probably very obvious, but the reality is she's got to become champion and carry that division as long as she's there. She's our most over superstar, and yeah, worthy of main eventing. Both get pretty good chemistry together, that lifted the matchup. Jordynne had the 59, Ronda had an 80, and obviously a big penalty for the lack of psychologists. So certain workers will work with Ronda. Rosemary did. Jordynne Grace maybe doesn't quite have overness, but Ronda's psychologist that is really poor. So we hope we can develop that over time. Jordan's got a gimmick that's getting stale, we'll work with that as well. But a 69 plus a 70 plus angle, we should be looking at a mid 70, maybe 69 with each show, because obviously we'll have a few penalties for our production. And the celebration of Ronda Rousey becoming champion gathers a 68. 67. I'm still not going to complain about that. I mean, it does show that, yeah, we gain our popularity in all 56 regions. We're only going to gain the same amount of pop every week as once that, so we'll take it. And your show appeared the worst because of the production values, as previously stated, but very stellar. If anything, it shows recruitment has been key here, with obviously Phoenix and Ace Austin drawn well, Ronda Rousey drawn well, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy coming in doing well, FTR aren't a Impact Tag Team either, and obviously the recruitment bringing in the Inflictors of Pain and the Young Bucks. But overall, I'm happy with it. As I say, a lot of stuff on the line there, and yeah, it gives us a few permutations going forward. Matt and Jeff will compete for a tag title matchup. Matt Riddle's going to have a bit of issues with Violent by Design, and of course we'll have a new contender coming up soon for the World Championship, plus many wrestlers who weren't on the show. So we'll jump to the main screen. This is where we'll have a slight idea of how we're doing financially. Of course, if we are in profit, we've still got the potential of tax and miscellaneous stuff to take away from us. But I certainly feel we're in a position where we can actually make profit. And if we can keep making profit, we can start to eventually, not straight away, but move towards weekly tapings rather than taping everything in one night. I still feel there's too big a gap to take us to that financially. So let's have a look here. Anything that directly affects us: AEW have a few graduates, WWE theirs previously, Havoc released from Shimmer. Am I blind? I can't even see where Impact Resolution is. It is. So feedback, the show was awesome, that's good. There's a few people retired, Valkyrie's injured as well. So one thing I was going to mention, just because I'll end up forgetting, John Silver's out for a month, and obviously we signed Miko Satomura, but she's out for 16 days, so I don't want to just debut her. I'll just wait to probably after the January event before we debut her, or maybe at the January event, that could work also. Jamie Hayter, Leo Rush and Navia will be away for a foreseeable time. So let's jump back to here, news items. So Billy Ray gone, say one-off appearance. We had 105,337 viewers and no pay-per-view buy rates because pretty much everybody watched it on Impact Plus. I don't think it matters too much because as long as we get the money through that, we didn't really make too much money. Well, say 30,000 is what we were previously making, so yeah, that pay-per-view revenue would have cost us. But in saying that, our broadcast revenue is up by 12,000. Sponsorship is down, could still gain because obviously not quite at the end of the month, but our merchandise was up and ticket sales up 20,000, and that's vital because the ticket sales have already gained double from July, unfortunately. So the worker costs and of course production's the big one, but yeah, we're still in a reasonably good position financially, 910,000, and that will change a wee bit over the next day or two. So size wise, of course, we don't gain the southeast, which is quite crazy, but or did we? Oh, we did, 52. So that's the key one. It's literally just the southeast. We need to get to 59, and then we can be medium, and then probably medium for a long time. It's large. Aye, 77 and 5 mainland places. We'll be there for a while. But at least at medium we can attract better TV deals. So yeah, that's where we're at the moment, and it is carry on. Next episode will just be a wee quick rundown of the top PW 500, the Power 500 and all the awards, and where we're looking to go in terms of booking in 2022, and after that we'll start with the run to Hard to Kill. Hey, I remembered for once. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we can continue to make this a fun place to appear. So thanks so much for watching, take it easy, see you soon, bye bye.